available and accessible to everybody. I'm not the world's foremost authority on anything. I don't have to be. I'm just an ordinary man pursuing extraordinary knowledge. I'm fascinated with the world of the occult and how much we don't know. And I've spent 43 years of my life looking at stuff that most people don't even know exists. Yes?
In Sitchin's book, The Lost Realms, he was looking at where the earth stood still for 24 hours so Joshua could slaughter the Philistines.
Oh, yeah.
So he thought that, well, if it was 24 hours of light on one side of the planet, theoretically there should have been 24 hours of darkness on the other.
Yeah, Velikovsky.
Yeah, well, Sitchin checked with the Mayan codexes in South America.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He found at the same period of time that Joshua was supposed to have lived roughly 3,600 years ago, where they had their 24 hours of daylight. In South America, the sun didn't come up for 24 hours. It was dark. So he realized that evidently when Nibiru comes by, the gravity is so great, it literally stops our planet from rotating for about 24 hours as it moves on through.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's trippy stuff.
Also, when you're mentioning that Bible, the Strong's Concordance works real well with that.
Yes. Oh, yes. Strong's Bible Concordance. I've got 3 copies of that thing. I like it so much I went out and bought 3 copies. And I open all 3 copies, and I read all 3 at one time. Because I want to leave that one there while I open another one, and that one opens this one, I got to open that one. It's Strong's Bible Concordance, but get the large print, not the small print. Because the small print is so microscopic it'll go blind. Large print, beautiful. Get the Strong's Bible Concordance, and every single word in the Bible, it tells you exactly what it means, where it came from. It's a whole reference. Incidentally, you might want to get a book called Mythology's Last Gods. In my opinion, that's a real trippy book, boy. I've got a lot of great books, but that one in particular is a mind-blowing. It's called Mythology's Last Gods by Dr. Harwood, Harwood, Dr. Harwood. Mythology's Last Gods, Dr. Harwood. It's a doctoral thesis put into a book form in which he goes back and examines the actual interesting history of the old ancient world, what really the words meant, where it really came from, what it was actually saying, what the Sumerians and the ancient Hebrews, Phoenician Canaanites were actually saying, what those words meant. That gets interesting. Incidentally, the very word Cana, you've heard of the marriage feast of Cana and the Canaanites. Cana, C-A-N-A-A-N, Cana, translates from the Phoenician language. The word Cana means merchant banker. Is that interesting? Cana, the land of Cana. Cana is merchant banker. Are any of you aware of the work of Michael Cremo? You ever heard of Michael Cremo? Yeah. Michael Cremo is a very, very studious and fascinating man who is a no-nonsense professional archaeologist who is seeing, and I've attended his lectures and got many of his videos, and he is making a very good case for the possibility that man, as we know him today, has been on the earth for millions and millions of years, and that there has been destruction, world destruction, cosmic destruction, many, many times in the past. And I'm thinking, wow, that's what I'm reading in the Bible. Very well, yeah. Charlton Heston did an hour television special on Michael Cremo and his work. I've got it. It's beautifully done with Charlton Heston, the host of the program. It's called The Hidden History of Mankind or something like that. I've got that. It's very, very interesting. I mean, Michael Cremo makes a very legitimate argument for the fact that maybe we've been on this earth for millions of years. I mean, when we hear about archaeology, how the archaeologists in, say, in Israel, they're digging down, they get these little pottery and whatever, and they're cleaning it off with their brushes. That doesn't impress me. That's for NBC, that's for ABC, you know. But when they are digging off the coast in the North Sea, off the coast of England, the oil drillers are out there on the North Sea, and they're going all the way down into the ocean and then drilling into the ocean to hit oil, and they're sucking up the stuff that they're cutting as it's coming up, and they're finding utensils, rings, and all kinds of interesting things. Hey, we're talking about under the Atlantic Ocean. How the hell long has something been down there under the Atlantic Ocean? Obviously, the Atlantic Ocean wasn't there at some time in history, because there's stuff being brought up from the floor of the ocean, underneath the floor of the ocean. I'm just saying, hey, somebody better do their homework. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here that we haven't been told about. Incidentally, I just remembered something I wanted to bring out. When it says that in Genesis 2, where it said that Adam and Eve walked in the cool of the evening, God walked with Adam and Eve in the cool of the evening. Actually, the word walked with is translated, the Hebrew words imply someone who hears steps. Someone is, when someone's walking and you hear them cracking on the leaves or something near you, you know someone's walking. That's what the word in Hebrew meant. So when it says that Adam and Eve walked with God, or God walked with Adam and Eve in the cool of the evening, most Christians and Jews have assumed, well, that means that God was there with them in spirit, and he was there with walking with. No, the actual word means heard the footsteps, meaning Adam and Eve could hear the footsteps of God. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. You could hear him walking in the bush. Implications are horrendous for that. What are we talking about? Maybe he's still here. I think Steven Spielberg is many things, but stupid isn't one of them. And he's been talking about ETs and close encounters of the third kind, and we've been told, all these science fiction movies coming out of Hollywood. I think there's something to all of this, yes.
Yeah, in the Sitchin books, the whole pantheon of gods on the planet, whether they're from India, Rome, Greece, South America, they're all the same family, with just each group has named them differently. And they were a family group. And the first, guardian or god of the planet actually remained here for over almost 900,000 years. And they subsequently changed leadership, but it was out of the same family. And some of these warrior gods were women. And that was Aphrodite, and she's been given all kinds of names. She had rocket ships.
I know. Yeah, again, it's a fascinating story about the gods and goddesses and how they look like humans. I think that's why we look like what we do, because we're made in the image and likeness of the Elohim, the Anunnaki, the gods. And that's why they can be right here in front of us and we'd never know it. And we've been told that I've heard a lot of people in the military saying that the government knows that there are alien life forms here that look like us. And, well, it makes sense. Maybe they're the ones that created us. They said that, they make mankind look like them and act like them. So anyway, again, I was just, if Wendy is here and wants to make any final announcements, and I'm not going to take any more questions. Again,